Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States. And we are...
Shit, I'm muted. I was muted. Boomer. All right. Welcome. I hope y'all are enjoying this lovely Monday afternoon. Welcome to Madness/Murder Monday. Man, we got a special one today. We got a special one coming up. This one has some twists, turns. You'll be incredibly confused. And yeah. We're going to do this one a little bit different. We're going to talk about it because Australia doesn't record any of their shit or release it to the public that I could get a hold of. So, let's say hello to everyone. Let's get into it. We have the wonderful dog mama. Hello. Yes. Yes, and so there was kind of maybe we'll go into the second part of it too. There was kind of an epidemic. There was apparently some vampires in Australia. And yeah, there was another group of lesbians that murdered a man. So there's two of them. Yeah. Oh, them. I don't think so. It's not worth it. What's up, Dazzer? Tweety, hello. Is it a good battle? Oh, I'm all done. Hey, Linda. What's up, Jason? Are you working government standard time still? Yep, absolutely, sir. What's up, Josh Chandler? Shenny, hello. Oh, that's great. Because it's critical to the story, so we'll get into that. I did. Well, that was part of the goal of that title. But yes, they certainly will get an individual to show up. So let's get into it. Shit, where is it? There it is. I'm gonna start on everybody's favorite source, Wikipedia. So the young lady that was murdered, her name is Stacey Mitchell. We see here this happened in 2006. It was a British-born girl living in Australia who was murdered at the age of 16 on 18 December 2006. The young ladies that murdered her were Jessica Stasinowsky and Valerie Parashumti. So I kind of want to jump around a little bit. That's the appeal. So these chicks are kind of top 10. And like I said, there was another individual that was also a lesbian. There was actually 4 girls in that one, and I don't know. Let's get to the end of this one, and then we'll decide if we want to go through it or move on. So, uh, blah blah blah. So we'll figure it out. What's up, Scad? How you been? Uh, so they killed because they were lesbians, not just lesbians that killed, or both. Both. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, the other one is a foursome, and that one's pretty intense too. So we'll see. We'll see how far we get through this one, and then maybe we'll roll right into that one. So, so these are the young ladies. One was 19 and one was 20, I believe. So here's some justification and some of the things. This is fandom Deadly Women. So Valerie and Jessica were 2 Australian lesbian lovers who murdered 16-year-old Stacey Mitchell. Stop. From age 3 to 16, Valerie was physically abused by her father, who once went to prison for beating up his wife. Valerie had to pull her father off her mother. She protected her brothers and sisters from him. Her father was so violent, he once held a sharp gardening tool to her throat. So he's obviously a class act and nothing there. Um, so Jessica's parents divorced when she was young. She had a history of cutting and burning, having felt isolated and emotionally barren. And another interesting part about this story is there's not a hell of a lot on this one. So, and this was long enough ago, almost 20 years now. You would have thought that something would have happened. So, after arguing with her parents, Stacey Mitchell left home. A mutual friend suggested the Bridgeborn girl stay with Valerie and Jessica. So Stacey also had some home problems. She ran away from home essentially and stayed with this older couple, Valerie and Jessica. Stacey was an attractive and promiscuous girl. So despite her young age, she was very from uh, a lot of the other articles and stuff like that. She was very sexually active, very promiscuous, blah blah blah. Jessica took Stacey's time there as a threat to her relationship with Valerie. So I'm not gonna go there. But sorry, I didn't miss anything, I don't think. So anyways, so they're living together, have this relationship. Uh uh a new I'm just gonna say it how it is. A new young hotness came into their lives and you know, kind of offset the balance. So then Valerie was accused of Jessica flirting with Stacey, who they only known for 5 days. Valerie decided to kill Stacey to prove her loyalty to Jessica. So obviously they're incredibly stable people, incredibly stable, because when a teen girl moves in for 5 days, then you already have this murder pact. Then you must be doing something right, right? You're highly stable. On December 18th, 2016, after a night of drinking, the 2 girls bludgeoned Stacey with a concrete block, then strangled her to death with the dog chain. And that would have been bad enough, but it gets worse. So it's just not in this article. The couple dumped her body in a garbage bin. 4 days after the murder, police detectives found Stacey's body. The 2 lovers were both sentenced to 24 years in prison. So they're almost out. Almost out. Hang on. Not going to appeal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is the one. So here's a little bit. Actually, ABC News has a little bit more in depth about it. So couple will not be allowed to apply for parole for another 20 to 30 years. I don't know how it works, but there's no indication that it will appeal. Sentencing took place in Perth. They could appeal the sentence. I wanted to get the case has hit the headlines in Australia and across the world because the murders displayed exceptional violence and sadism. For your discretion advised, it does get very, very graphic. I didn't even think of that. That might be heaven for them. Yes. Yes. She was 16. Mitchell met the couple after she left her parents' home. She shared a house with Jessica and what's her fuck? Grew jealous, blah, blah, blah. Feeling that she had something to prove that Mitchell meant nothing to her, Parashumti reportedly drank blood as part of a vampire cult, killed Mitchell. And that's where it gets into this other one. So we'll probably just roll into the other one as well. So apparently there's this Australian teen lesbian vampire cult going on in Australia. Yes. The day the murder took place, the couple drank with Stacey and made her drink sleeping pills before attacking her in the kitchen. Parashumti hit Mitchell with a concrete block. Stasinowsky then strangled Mitchell with a belt chain and beat her. So they beat the hell out of her. They do get freaky. I don't know. So it, like I said, it gets really graphic. After Mitchell passed out 30 minutes later, the court heard that the couple became sexually aroused and kissed each other. So they had sex over her dead body. And made fun of the woman that they killed. They filmed the murder scene on their mobile phone while making fun of Mitchell. That video doesn't exist. I looked. Mitchell's parents alerted police that their daughter had gone missing. They found the teenager's body in a garbage bin at the couple's property. Everyone is quite disgusted with them. With the Perth Times, this is a very big story. The Supreme Court of Australia called the crime horrific. So when they got into sentencing, and they didn't take any, it was an enjoyable, it's much like Mark previously. It was really an enjoyable experience for them. They didn't care. They had to have known they were got caught. They just dumped it in the trash, had no care or anything about anything. It's pretty disgusting. So they just didn't care. So and like I said, we'll jump around just to make sure we're catching everything. Strangled her with dog chain as she lay dying. The two women kissed over her body and filmed her on a mobile phone. Early attempts to kill Mitchell by Stasinowsky, including putting broken glass in her drink and spilling oil on the bathroom floor. So they were trying to. I agree, Tweety. They were trying to kill her before that, and then it just got into the really, really heavy stuff. They had zero remorse at all. Jump up, and get down. The two women were tried at the Perth Supreme Court. During the trial, they smiled and giggled and whispered at each other. Parashumti's lawyer stated that she had a very severe personality disorder and had grown up with an abusive father. She also had an obsession with the vampire subculture, drinking people's blood since the age of 10. Parashumti's father had previously been in prison for beating his wife. We heard about that. Both women pled guilty and revealed that after Mitchell's death, they had visited a hardware store to look for for a chainsaw and some spades, so shovels. In 2008, both women were sentenced to strict security life imprisonment with a 24-year minimum term. Stanisowski did appeal her sentence. Her appeal was unanimously rejected by the WA Court of Appeal. David Ross John Haynes, who also lived with them, so they had a penis in the building. Was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for being an accessory. Although he had been fully aware of the plan to kill Mitchell, he agreed to go to his bedroom and listen to music. So, no. It was discovered in 2009. The two women were continuing their relationship in prison, reportedly spending up to 90 minutes together on weekends and 7 hours a day on weekdays. Parashumti was consequently moved to a separate prison. They attempted to maintain contact by sending letters, using fellow inmate Catherine Burney as a go-between. In 2012, 3 prison officers were injured following the intervention in a fight involving Parashumti and another inmate. In 2013, she attempted to escape from prison, but failed to leave the grounds. It was reported she would consequently face a police charge. So, 20 charges. So the one chick had an extensive criminal history. Yeah. Yep. Well, you got a job then, Dees. Another controversial. Who the hell is that? Oh, that's the American one. I wanted to stay to the state of the Aussie. So, yeah, these, and you have the judge opining that these murders were sexually perverse and evil. After the court was told the 2 lesbian lovers had become sexually aroused as they battered the teenage girl and kissed while standing over the body, she lay dying. So the judge had a pretty long statement, and I wish Aussie courts would would record that kind of stuff. But you have each had more than a year of custody to reflect upon the evilness of your crime. You still lack remorse and obviously place no value on the sanctity of human life, Blaxell said, in handing down life sentences. There's also the added problem that you enjoy being sexually aroused by the infliction of violence. So again, we kind of already went through this. Blah, blah, blah. Stacey took at least 45 minutes to die. Stanisowski told a prison officer she wishes it had lasted longer. I would have. God damn it. Why are we still talking about this? Tweety and Dog Mama. Even more appealing are your admissions to the effect that at the time of the murder, you were each sexually excited by the violence of the event. Laughing and mocking the victim. Psychologists found Parashumti, who drank blood as part of a vampire subculture, had strong sexual sadistic tendencies and was sexually aroused by physical torture and violence. So very much, very, very much like Mark, our previous, it seems to be something that takes place at some time, at some points. Yeah, they certainly. What's up? How you doing, Max? But why is this Pornhub video so sedate? Max so confused and so sad and so Romery. Did I say? Oh, I'm sorry. It's good to see you, Max. Trying to make sure that we didn't miss anything else. So this is the first. This is the first one, and God damn it, Tweety. Uh, so this is one of the things where they, just like Mark, they had a sexual interest in making it as sadistic and terrible as they possibly could. They also, I mean, this is pure evil. There's no question. Um, Last Lane is where it took place. I was going to show that on a map. I don't know if Aussie knows where that's at, but hang on. I don't know where anywhere is in Australia. It is. It's truly evil. To and it's even worse when you have the after effects where you're. Hang on. So here's the Last Lane. This is where the ladies lived. So we have Perth, Australia, and I guess that's on the Western Australia. So that's kind of where we're. That's kind of the location we're talking about. But yeah, it's pure evil. It's absolutely pure evil. Uh, to to have no remorse and to laugh and giggle and be scolded by the judge, and even a year after you've served time, still have give zero care. Removed from the rest of major cities, kind of. Okay. Um. So, I mean, I don't know what comes over somebody. It has to be a ridiculous mental illness that we can't even comprehend. It's to do that to somebody, to be so cold that you murder a girl because you think she flirted with your girlfriend, and then have sex over her dying body. Then that's you forgot to press like. um I think that's just terrible. I think it's disgusting, and I hope they never get out. So I hope they never get out of prison, never see the light of day. And yeah, uh, that's the first one. And we'll go to the, because there are more. I don't know why there's an epidemic of lesbian vampires in Australia, but apparently there is. The other young lady, her name is Tracy Wigington. Tracy Wigington is super insane. Like, definitely special. Um, Hang on, I'm trying to find the exact. So this chick was a psychopath as well. So, um, Australian. See, they're both called the Australian lesbian vampires. So I'm trying not to get the same video for twice. Um, and then you had some. Nope. I bet you could explain it with TikTok, to be honest, making subcultures popular. Yeah, and I think that's one of the problems is everything's so much more accessible, and where people like this used to be made fun of and kind of beat into submission for, you know, for having these kind of crazy, insane ideologies. Um, you don't anymore. You can have your community. You can be part of your community, and you can bring other people into this community. So it's much easier to find community. It's much easier to find degeneracy to a degree like this, and then it's obviously much easier uh, to further to have furtherance of it. It's much easier to make it so um, people can get encouraged and egged on more. They there can be much more of that kind of thing uh, to make people do things that they wouldn't otherwise. There's also I guess a huge subculture. You can see with I never watched them, but the Twilight movies. But there's obviously enough where, oh hell, we'll get Max all horny. So there's obviously enough of these movies to make a top 10 list of best lesbian vampire shows. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I want to suck your blood. Hi guys, welcome to a video, and in today's video I'm just going to be listing what I think are the 10 best lesbian vampire films and shows out there. Now, content is a little thin on the
I'm sure you can find one on
it is,
Facebook.
but I've done the best.
Oh, shut up. We don't want to hear you talk about it. We just want to see it.
1936 film Dracula's Daughter. This is a sequel to the 1931 film Dracula, and as the title might suggest, it's about Dracula's daughter who seeks out the help of a psychiatrist to try and rid herself of her vampiric thirst for blood. However, she soon finds herself wanting to turn him into one of the undead too. I rather enjoyed this film. Both the vampiric and the lesbian elements are portrayed in a subtle manner, very much rely on suggestion, but I
That's
found this
fucking
just
awesome,
added
Max.
to its charm. Whilst the film is not explicitly lesbian, there's no mistaking the lesbian subtext, and I've included it in this list because it's the first Hollywood film to portray a female vampire who preys on and desires female victims. It's also an interesting production to watch if you're interested in the history of cinema, the horror genre, or early depictions of lesbian desire in film. At number 9, we have the 1971 film Daughters of Darkness, about a newlywed couple who encounter a mysterious, beautiful countess whilst passing through a vacation resort. Now, this film
Does it
is
did I get
rather
kicked
violent.
for copyright? Hang on. Hang on. Oh, those are just over there.
Erotic
Never mind.
and very much a product of the 70s, but it's beautifully made, and the Countess alone is worth watching the film for. Oh, she is divine. However, I should give a disclaimer that
Yep.
the film shies away from showing anything explicit where lesbianism is concerned, and the erotic
Damn
scenes
it.
are predominantly heterosexual. But the film doesn't shy away from the fact that the Countess is, without a shadow of a doubt, an evil lesbian seductress from beginning to
I
end.
think there's just
So
boobs.
this fact alone gives it a place on my list. Just about. At number 8, we have the 2019 film Carmilla, loosely based on the 1872 novella of the same name, and it's our first adaptation of Carmilla on this list. This film is incredibly atmospheric and aesthetically pleasing, but the acting and dialogue do leave something to be desired. Overall, it's not the best adaptation of the novella, but it's certainly not the worst. And if you're a fan of Carmilla or just lesbian vampire films in general, I would say that this one is worth watching, and it's also one of the 3 productions on this list
I'm sold. I'll go watch it.
to have a female writer, and it definitely shows through the direction and lack
Mhm.
of overt hypersexualization and heteronormative romance being a focal point. Keeping in theme with questionable adaptations of the Carmilla novel, at number 7, 6, and 5 we have the 1970s Karnstein trilogy from Hammer Films, which is made up of The Vampire Lovers, Lust for a Vampire, and Twins of Evil. Look, these films are a lot of fun, and what you see is really what you get: camp horror and naked women. From an entertainment perspective, these films are great to watch, but as an adaptation
Stop
of the
showing naked
Carmilla
women on your
novel,
video.
they really have nothing in common with the book, except for the names of the characters. Still, what it lacks in its ability to reflect the themes and the essence of the Carmilla novel, it makes up for with breasts. At number 4, we have the 2022 Netflix series First Kill, about a teenage vampire who falls in love with a teenage vampire hunter. It's like a supernatural Romeo and Juliet. Now, the show itself is not high art, and that's putting it nicely, but the relationship between Calliope and Juliet is brimming with so much chemistry that almost everything else can be forgiven. What I like about this show is it offers a fresh take on the figure of the lesbian vampire.
Who asked what? Oh, the fuck is this? Bobby, we're showing that in culture, there's also a huge instance of lesbian vampires. Because that's what we're doing today, lesbian vampires.
It doesn't vilify her or treat her romantic desires as predatory. It fleshes her out instead of portraying her as a 2-dimensional monster. So First Kill stands out from other productions in that way, and it also stands out because it's one of the 3 productions on this list to include female writers. And hey, whilst teenage supernatural shows are nothing groundbreaking, one which centers around a lesbian relationship certainly is. At number 3, we have the 1960 film Blood and Roses, which is yet another adaptation of the 1872 Carmilla novel, and I have to say, possibly one of the best adaptations on this list. I really have a soft spot for this film for a multitude of reasons, one of them being that the film is bold enough to portray a sapphic romance within the confines of what was acceptable to show at the time, and another being how it embodies the essence of the novel it's adapted from. Blood and Roses is a romantic, tasteful visual delight and offers an intelligent retelling of the 1872 Carmilla novel. At number 2, we have the 1983 film The Hunger, about a strikingly beautiful vampire Miriam and her lover John, who has been led to believe he will live forever. However, he soon undergoes a living death, and Miriam finds a new partner in a young scientist called Sarah. However, Sarah does not warm up to the concept of vampirism, and this causes conflict between the two. Look, this film really is a visual masterpiece. It's
What's up, Jacob?
tastefully dark and erotic. Susan Sarandon and Catherine Deneuve are stunning, and their characters have chemistry which could cause a forest fire
Go back about
if
2
they
minutes.
so happen to make eye contact near a forest. Whilst a lot of lesbian vampire productions are similar and tend to regurgitate the same theme.
Okay, we're stopping just for a minute. I'm sure she does. Just to break it up, I will show you the absolute hottest lesbian vampire of all time. It's my number 1 crush. Like celebrity crush. Sarah Michelle Gellar. Anyways.
The Hunger gives vampirism a makeover, which makes it refreshing to watch. And at number 1, and I'm sure most of you saw this coming a mile away, we have the
Yes, I did.
2014 Carmilla web series and 2017 Carmilla movie. This production is yet another adaptation of the 1872 novella
I'm gonna come.
Carmilla. But unlike the other productions adapted from the book, this one is not only a completely fresh take on the novel, but it's a fun one too. The web series
They
didn't have
came
the
all
biggest
over the
budget
place.
behind it. In fact, the first season was filmed on an iPhone, but that's a testament to how entertaining this show is, because you really do forgive the production quality because of how great the content is. This series is punchy, it's engaging, and most importantly, Laura and Carmilla have a lightning in a bottle type chemistry, which is hard not to be fascinated by. I love what this series did with the source material and
All right,
how
buddy.
they reimagined characters from the novel in a modern day setting. Carmilla is also one of the 3 productions
Yes.
on this list to include a female writer. Much like the other 2 productions on this list to have female input, perhaps that plays into the refreshing reinvention of the lesbian vampire and the portrayal of her romantic desires. Okay, guys, let me know your favorite.
All right, we don't want to listen to her again. So that is so obviously we have a huge subculture of lesbian vampires. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together. No, I got what you mean. So I didn't put 2 and 2 together. So here is the other Aussie. Hi, Jacob. Mine did the same. What's up, Jacob, over on Rumble? So here's our second set of lesbian vampires from Australia. And this one we're gonna watch the video and discuss. Huh. It might be. I haven't seen Aussie. I figured he'd be here for Aussie lesbians. He is an Aussie lesbian. I think this is the intro. Well, maybe it wasn't. Shit. Never mind. Yeah, I didn't know that.
In January
before.
1991, a 25-year-old sheet metalwork student stands before a judge in Brisbane, Australia.
This lesbian isn't as attractive.
Tracy Averill Wigington is accused of the murder of a middle-aged man, Edward Baldock. She pleads guilty. It looks like an open and shut case, and the event almost passes under the media radar. That is until the trial of Wigington's alleged 3 accomplices.
HRT. Smash or pass, guys.
In the murder, which takes place amidst sensational allegations.
She said, "This is the night. This is what we're going to do. I need the blood. I need it. I'm a vampire."
The women claim that they are not responsible for their part in Edward Baldock's death. They have fallen under the spell
Gross.
of a lesbian vampire. Could they possibly be telling the truth? Or are they all equally guilty?
So this one's interesting because she brings in 3 other people. You mean top right? Grossties. So 2. Okay. So yeah, so this one she brings other people in, and it's all to harvest the blood of this man. And it's really quite interesting. So
It would be for an Australian court to decipher the truth behind the extraordinary case of the lesbian vampire killers. Home to a population of 2 million, the city, with its warm sunshine and picturesque parks and gardens, is an unlikely backdrop for the dark, grisly world of cold-blooded murder.
Is that true in Brisbane, Aussie?
But in 1989, Brisbane's affluent West End becomes the scene of one of the most chilling and unusual crimes ever committed.
No, Dazzer, I wouldn't time you out, buddy.
In the early hours of the 21st of October, Brisbane housewife Elaine Baldock wakes up in bed.
Did they just say Elaine Baldock?
She reaches out for her husband, but there is no sign of him. 47-year-old Edward Baldock works as a road paver for the local authority. The couple have recently celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary. Edward, a father of 5, frequently goes drinking with friends on his day off. But he never stays out late.
Shit.
So at 5 a.m.,
Oh, not
Elaine
me.
Baldock
YouTube.
calls the
Nah.
Brisbane police to report him missing. At dawn that morning, rowers
Depends on what time of year in November Brisbane and Gold Coast turn into Biden's playground when the kids black up and blow off steam.
Stephen Kerrin is out on the Brisbane River.
Yeah, I was first boat out that morning, which was unusual for me. I was looking around and then out of my peripheral vision, I saw Mr. Baldock on the bank.
In front of the boathouse, Kerrin spots what looks like a body. After directing some early morning joggers away, Stephen stops and pulls his boat into the bank to take a closer look.
He was in a fetal position. He was naked. He defecated. There was blood all up the wall of the boat shed. His head was back and he was basically cut from ear to ear through his throat. And it was very messy, horrible scene.
Jonathan, they absolutely did. And yeah, probably. Oh, drunk?
Police Chief Patrick Clancy is the lead investigator assigned to the case.
How does one recover from finding a murdered body? Who is it? The YouTuber that poked it with the stick? But no, I think it would be incredibly difficult. Just a dead body in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be murdered. I mean, people die of natural causes all the time. It's got to have some psychological implications. It's another human being. No, I get what you're saying. It's got to be tough. I don't envy the people that have had that unfortunate situation. It just went damn. That's what I thought, but I didn't want to say it and not be true. I smoked a weed. Oh. That just numbs you. That doesn't actually resolve anything.
and is one of the first on the scene.
A very decent family at West End, and we feel very sad for them. He's a father of 5, and a dreadful thing to be taken from them at 47 years of age.
Now retired, but with a career spanning nearly 30 years, Glancy is familiar with the gruesome nature of murder. But what he sees on the morning of the 21st of October still remains vivid in his memory.
The body was naked. He was covered in blood, congealed blood mainly.
Really though, I think. Sorry, I was waiting. We recovered a tourist that had been killed and partially eaten by a bear. It stays with you. Yeah. Not kidding. Dude shot himself in the apartment door. Remember that time went over there and just hot damn. I think men have a better chance dealing with it. So back when I was a former glowy, I volunteered for Federal Emergency Management Agency tasks. And you'd go to disaster areas where death was everywhere you looked. And it's haunting. It's a haunting feeling, but yeah, I think some people are just better equipped to deal with it. I think some people it really eats up and they shouldn't do it, but I think there are some of us that can really kind of move on from it and still be productive enough while giving it what it necessarily deserves, which is respect and dignity. So, but it's rough. It's rough. It'd be so good. Absolutely. Absolutely. And some people shouldn't. No worries, Jude. Have fun. Not for break. Every time I go tomorrow, I have a few stiff puns locked in. You dick. But yeah, it is. That's why police and a lot of what I kind of got involved in, some really dark humor, and that's where it comes from. Is if you can't laugh about it, then it will eat you alive. So, it scares me how much I've been desensitized from the internet. See, the internet doesn't stand in for real life, though. So I didn't think we would go on this tangent, but here we are. The internet isn't real life, and no matter how much shit you've seen on the internet, it can't prepare you for the smell and you can taste it, like it's in the air, of going to someplace that was just ravaged by a hurricane and there's bodies everywhere. It's rough. It doesn't. Same to you, Jonathan. Same to you. Almost a glowy, always a glowy. I know. Well, let's not get too excited. Okay. And that's your experience. Maybe you're better at compartmentalizing it. Like I said, some people are different. Some people have different experiences, but it's it's not something that doesn't affect me. So, it's not something that's debilitating to me, but it's not something that didn't affect me in any way. So, that's not how you would act if you had to boom someone or whatever, trust young Padawan. You definitely feel something. I'm kind of feel half bad when I shoot a deer. You're ridiculous. All right. I'm gonna let this play for a minute because I'm gonna go urinate. I have premium now, so it's not there. If there's a fucking ad, I'm gonna lose it.
He had a pair of socks on his feet, but nothing else. The body had in excess of 12 good puncture wounds to the chest and back. The only thing holding the head to the body, I think myself, was just the spine.
On closer inspection of the scene, Glancy finds two significant clues. One is a wallet, which reveals the identity of his victim.
I opened it and found that it had $35, a bank card in the name of E.C. Baldock.
The other clue will reveal his killer.
Nearby was a set of tan shoes, and in one of those shoes was found a Commonwealth bank card in a yellow folder, covering folder, identical to the card belonging to the man Baldock. The only difference being that this one had the name T.A. Wigington on it.
Within hours, the police arrest 24-year-old Tracy Wigington and bring her in for questioning. In Tracy's interview with police, 3 accomplices are implicated. And within 24 hours of the murder, all 4 women are charged with the crime. "15 months later, the media hardly notices when Tracy Wigington attends committal proceedings to determine if there is a sufficient case for trial.
I gave evidence in the committal. All the evidence came out against her that we had, and she eventually pleaded guilty to that, and there was no trial in relation to Wigington.
Confronted by the evidence of her bank, accomplices are implicated.
Cock blocking fuckers. Rumble? Rumble? Let's go to Rumble. I know the stream's down. I'm talking about it. I don't know yet, Bri. Yeah, I know Viscera's Josh. All right, everybody, hang over to is the mic in Meat's mouth? I don't have my stuff set up. Looks like I'm not even. Is that better? I can't tell. There we go. No, Chenny, I just got up and I was like, shit. Because I put it on my phone so I can at least watch it to make sure if anything like this happens. So I appreciate it, Chenny. All right. I'm sorry, Bobby. Yep, me too, tits. All right, so I'm going to end the YouTube stream because they'll just keep knocking that off. Like, it's unfortunate, but it's the way it goes. So yeah, we're gonna head over to YouTube. The link is in the description. I'll actually post it in the there we go. It is the pinned message. So go ahead and head over there, and we're gonna jump over to YouTube or leave YouTube.